how's Christmas going?
Very, very busy. I'm really busy. I need stuff. I want to buy some stuff. I need to get some stuff. I need more stuff to stuff in my locker. I need stuff, more stuff.
So we're always dealing with, like we said last week, little Richie, right? Me, myself, and I. The moment we went through the doorway and we bit on that apple of separation, we began to go on this journey looking for something that's not missing. And the moment that was born, there was a little bit of guilt born there as well, because we felt separate from our source. And what happened then? Well, God said, have you eaten of the apple if I told you not to eat of it? That when you do it, you shall feel separate from me. And he said, I didn't do it. Eve did it. It's her fault. Maureen did it. That she does it all the time to me. It's somebody else's fault. You did it. It's your fault. And he said, well, I didn't do it. The serpent beguiled me. We've been passing it on ever since, haven't we? That's what we do here. We pass it on. We pass it on. Ever since we had that moment of dreaming ourselves separate from our source, we began to accumulate information based upon our 5 physical senses, telling us that what we see is real and can be threatened. All of us have done this. We do it over and over and over again. We store information in what's called our subconscious mind. And it gets unconscious because we push it down there. And we're not often aware of what's being pushed down in the subconscious mind. And so we need help to get out of bondage. In the Bible, it says Adam man, separate man, fell into a deep sleep. And nowhere does it say he woke up. And so we are Adam man waking up to Christed consciousness. And we're going on a journey from bondage to liberty. From being fearful and separate and afraid to being one and whole. And we need help because we have to cross over, we said last week, a hot desert of our own subconscious mind and deal with those hot issues and tissues that most of us run away from when we face them. We're afraid to face them. We don't want to look at them, so we need help. In the Old Testament, the helping figure was called Moses. Moses led the people out of bondage to worshiping many gods. And he said, I am that I am has sent us to this moment. There is only one presence and one power. And so that's the first part of the journey. And then comes a beautiful being named Jesus, Christed consciousness. And what he came to bring was the technology of forgiveness. He said, you really want to work through that stuff in the cellar of your thought system? You want to work through all that stuff you've been stuffing in the closet? Let me tell you how to do it. Practice forgiveness. Practice forgiveness, and this will be the thing that will set you free. God does not forgive. God never condemned. The blameless cannot blame. But while you are here in the body, you have condemned, you've claimed, you've judged, and you've judged others. And so we need help with that.
Now, there's a story about a Texas rancher back in 1889, and he was a good old boy, and he had himself a lot of land. I'm telling you, I got a big, all you can see is my ponderosa. As far as you can see, you see me. That's me. He said, I'm a good Christian. I go to church every Sunday. But he didn't act like a good Christian. When it came down to the rubber hitting the road, that wasn't the way he acted. And one day, this poor man who was trying to feed his family was hungry and came and stole a chicken from his property. And the ranch hands brought it before the farmer, and the farmer looked him up and down and said, hang him! I'll teach him a lesson! And off they went and hung him. And another day, someone who was crossing over the border from Mexico ended up camping one night on his property. And he got caught by the ranch hands again. Came in front of the rancher. And the rancher had one thing to say to everybody. Hang him! I'll teach him a lesson! And that was pretty much how the rancher lived his life. You know, never really stepped in anybody else's shoes to take a look at how anybody else was feeling. He lived his life according to his belief system, his thought system, which was, hang him! I'll teach him a lesson! Well, guess what happened, as it happens to all of us? One day the rancher died to his body and was lifted up into the heavenly realms of light, as we all are. He was lifted up into the light, and then he found himself, of all places, oh my God, it's St. Peter and the gate of heaven. I'm in trouble now. I've been so bad. And he tried to sneak in through the back door. Maybe nobody would recognize me. I've done some bad things. And he bumps right into St. Peter. And Peter takes a look at him and says, Jesus wants to meet with you personally. Ah! Not Jesus. The Christians are worried about Jesus. They're going to be, everybody's worried about Jesus and the final judgment. Oh my God, I can't
It's so bad. And Jesus walks up to you and I, all of us, all the ranch hands here, takes his little hat off, looks at St. Peter and looks at me, myself, and I, and says, forgive him. That'll teach him a lesson. Do you feel that? Forgive him. That'll teach him a lesson. That's the end journey, friends. You are forgiven. You're whole. You're beautiful. You're complete. You are forgiven. The guilt, shame, and the blame, the judgment is not on the part of God. It's on our part. We judge ourselves. And as we judge ourselves, we become that which we judge. It's an interesting thing how it works. We've taken all of this stuff and pushed it down into our unconsciousness. It's like we're watching this movie on a screen. Well, there's the screen. And we go to a movie, and you want to get lost in the movie. A good movie, you get lost in it. Oh my God, look at this movie, I can't believe it. Oh my God, and you find your heart beating and palpitating. Maureen and I were watching It Man or something, some kung fu thing. And believe it or not, she actually likes, you know why I like this woman? She can sit and watch a kung fu movie with me and like it. How many women out there can actually sit through that? Maureen likes kung fu. And I'm going, yeah, I'm getting all caught up. And she's grabbing my hand and squeezing it, going on. I said, honey, it's just a movie. And she goes, oh, that's right. It's just, you see, it's just a movie. The screen is an effect. It's an effect. The cause is the projector and the film in the projector. We spend our whole life staring at the screen, believing that it's real, where the work is with not the screen, but the cause. And the cause is in your mind, which produces after its kind. But unfortunately, for most of us, what's in our mind is unconscious. We're not aware of it. So we need to make it conscious. A Course in Miracles says it beautifully this way. Don't need the screen quite yet. It says, where is that thing? Here it is. It says, projection makes perception. The world you see is what you gave it. Nothing more than this, but also nothing less. The world is a witness to your own state of mind. It's an outside picture of an inward condition. That's what you're looking at. So you keep projecting your unconscious stuff that you've not made conscious onto the world, and it becomes your perception of who? Of you and everybody else here. And we keep that movie alive. Every time we keep the movie alive by getting lost in the details of all the things we think we've done wrong on this planet. And we stay imprisoned to that state of mind because we keep reproducing it after its kind. When I was talking on Wednesday night and also on Sunday about Ho'oponopono, the technique that Dr. Lin did, it was really interesting. He went to the hospital, to the Hawaii State Mental Hospital, where all these criminally insane men were. All the criminally insane parts of us were there, and the worst particular forms of manifestation of it. And he was a psychologist. He was paid to do some healing work there at the hospital. And what he did was very different. He didn't go to any staff meetings. He didn't go to board meetings. He didn't do personal counseling with all the men who were there to find out how they could figure out how they could deal with what they set in motion. Instead, he took all of the files of all of the men, stuck them on a table, and for 3 years, he practiced Ho'oponopono by saying, thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. That's all he did. He sent healing energy. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Gratitude begins the process of your healing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am sorry. For a moment, I dreamed that we were separate. And it's not true. There is no separate person here. It's all one spirit in many different forms. I don't want to know the details of your delusional states of consciousness, of all the things you think you've done that you're going to have to repay when you walk through Heaven's Gate. That's your own misperception. That's your dream. The technology of forgiveness goes right to the core of all that and says, forgive him. That'll teach him a lesson. And then God's perception of you becomes your perception of others, which becomes your belief in knowing about yourself. Bingo. That's why Jesus said it won't do to go through all the details of working it out. Divine grace, the redeeming grace of God, comes every time in a moment We choose to forgive. And you'll have to keep practicing this. How many times must I forgive them?
70 times.
70 times 70, which means every day, every moment of every day, when you have that moment of dreaming yourself separate from, it doesn't mean you don't do anything. It doesn't mean you don't say yes and say no to the zoning board. It doesn't mean you don't say yes or no to your children. It doesn't mean you don't say yes or no to what you're eating in your diet for your body. It doesn't mean any of that. What it means is you know that that is just an effect. The cause is within you. And God, the presence, the beautiful presence, it wants to heal through you. But it can't as long as you're holding on to unforgiving thoughts about yourself or anybody else who's ever dreamed themselves separate here. Ah, it's beautiful and beautiful when we have a moment of touching the hem of the garment of that. The teachers in Tibet say, if you have a problem, the best thing to do is not separate it out. Drive it all into one. One problem. One problem. I have one problem. The problem is separation. That's my problem. I have no other problem. When we pray in the prayer box, we say, bring all of our problems to the one solution. The cause of it all. And everyone's name in this box, which is literally known by God, every individual need can be met. But not when we separate the problems out. We don't sit and read, oh wow, what a problem you've got. That's a big problem. I didn't know you were sick. Or I'd be on the Silent Unity prayer phone when I used to work there. Part of me went, oh, I didn't know you were sick. It must be really bad to call it Silent Unity. You know? Drive all blames into one, separation. The answer, the healing, the truth, the light comes through forgiveness. Forgiveness, because God is not judging you. You and I are judging ourselves. I had a really great example of this when I was at the gym again. What a sheltered life I live. Gym. And I have a locker that I use for the day use. I have a day use locker. I don't have a permanent one there. Ooh, what do you know about that? We'll fit that in somewhere. I have a day use locker. So there's about 2 or 3 rows where there's day use lockers where you put your sticky stuff in and you lock it up. And it's really interesting. The fellow who is accused of murdering his wife, he goes to the gym that I went to. And just 2 weeks ago, he was just another guy at the gym working out. Tattoos from here to there, was in the military, tremendous physical condition. And just a regular guy. You know, talk and jive talk, sports, you know, hey, knew everybody's name by heart. You know, I know him as good as I know anybody there. And all of a sudden now, he's the criminal. And his locker is now empty. They've taken his name off, his locker's off his locker. And there were 2 guys standing there having a conversation about him, the details about him. Let me step back now. By the way, we all live in the locker room of life. Everybody has their own little secret stash of stuff. We got our own little individual combinations. I'm not going to tell you what my combo is. This is my private stuff. I'm going to lock it up and take care of it, and there you go. That's the unconscious part of the mind, which keeps reproducing after its kind. What you don't make conscious becomes the very thing that rules you. The thing you fear most is in that locker, and that's what keeps happening over and over and over again. And so here you are with your own little secret stash of stuff. You think it's different from everybody else's. Your stuff stinks, my friends. Get over it. You know, unless you get that unlocked part of you opened up and clean out your own dirty laundry and clean that stuff up, it's just going to keep smelling all over the place. So you're not different from anyone. There's a Hitler and a Jesus and a Buddha and a Mussolini in me. I have to admit that to myself. And the stuff that's in that unconsciousness is just energy. And when I'm willing to open up that door and ask for healing, healing can happen. So I'm listening to the conversation about this guy. Now, I don't know any of the details about him. So my ego mind, it wants to know about the details. You know, sort of my physical ear is leaning into, what? You're kidding me? Oh my God. And another part of me said, grasshopper. Don't listen to that part of the story. Move back from that. Get your physical ear away from those sounds. That will not bring healing to this moment. And now that I'm going deaf, it's real easy. I don't have to go very far away not to hear anything. And I waited till they were done with their conversation. And then I did something that I felt guided to do. I walked over to his locker. I put my hands on the locker. And I said, thank you. Gratitude. Please forgive me for judging you in any way other than pure, holy, and innocent in God's eyes. I don't need to work out your bad behavior points. It'll happen on its own. I want to see you as God sees you so I can know myself as God knows me. Thank you. Gratitude. First step. Gratitude. I'm sorry I ever thought we were separate. And then the please forgive me part, Maureen and I were talking about it, that's the part where you just really give it over to God. You give it over to Buddha. You give it over to the divine presence in whatever form. You just say, here, take this. Then you end up with some version of, I love you. I just didn't know it yet. When you walk into a room full of people and you don't know them, you can just say to yourself, you know, everybody in this room loves me, but they just don't know it. Yeah. I don't care what my ego's interpretation is of you. I love you. Because that's who we are. That's what we come from. That's what we're coming back to again. So let's go to our lesson summation for a moment as we take a look at this. Here's the technology of forgiveness, right? Projection makes perception. The world you see is what you gave it. Nothing more than that. It is nothing less. It is the witness of your own state of mind. It's an outside picture of an inward condition. That's why it works so well to work with the world that you're in, because you get to see what's going on inside of you by how you perceive what's going on outside of you. We go through life, everybody does, reacting and feeling and thinking from a 7-year-old's perspective. Let's be honest about it. We do. We collect wounds and hurts and emotional scarrings, and we throw them into our individual lockers, and we seal them with our own little secret combination. And you make sure you don't want anybody else to know what that combination is, because boy, if they ever got to look at this stuff about you, you would have seen the way I acted and reacted this morning or last night on the way in traffic, or what happened when I was at that meeting. You would think of me would be awful. And so we have our own little locker, and the Holy Spirit says, here's how I can help you. Here's how the Holy Spirit can help you. Practicing this technology we're talking about of forgiveness is a sacred, holy act. It allows us to unlock the door of our hearts so we can clean out our old thought system and be gently guided home by the one who loves us without conditions. So today I'm offering you a practice. Open up your heart. Give your combination, your secret stash, to the Holy Spirit in you. I say, I need help. I myself will just keep stuffing stinky stuff in the locker. I'll hardly ever take care of it. I need help dealing with these unconscious things. And the Holy Spirit says, if you're willing to renounce the role of guardian of your thought system, locking everything up real sure, and if you'll give me the inner combination to the truth of who you are, I will lead you back to God, and it will be easy. And that forgiveness, those forgiving moments, will put that smile back on your face as the grace pours forth through each of us. So this week I want you just to be aware that there are days when it's, hang 'em, I'll teach 'em a lesson. I have hang 'em high days. And I let Maureen know, oh boy, I'm on a roll today. It woke up right away. Hang 'em, I'll teach 'em a lesson. Newt Gingrich, hang 'em. Obama, hang 'em all, hang 'em high. There's parts of me that just crucify. And I have those days, and I know that I need help. Or I just need to let others know that I'm having that kind of day today. Don't hang around with me. We know what it's leading you to. It's leading you to a place in your heart that opens up. And you begin to see as God sees, hear as God hears, see as God sees. And you begin to say to those around you, forgive them. That'll teach them the real lesson. And then you're home in God. In that moment, the Messiah has come. And you become the anointed one as you offer the radiant beam of your forgiving heart to others. And that's how we awaken to who we are together. So these wonderful teachings are for us to do what? Practice, practice, practice. You'll get plenty of moments, won't you? Namaste.